Hello and welcome to today's live coaching call and community conversation. Today we're going to be talking about the number one reason a lot of women are walking away from fasting. So welcome. If you're new here, my name is Diane Parham. I'm the creator of the online course and community, the Intermittent Fasting for Today's Aging Woman. Our next course will be starting I think it's August the 5th. Registration will close on August the 4th. And if you're in my midlife mindset shift course, I'll see you guys a little later this afternoon. So we're going to talk about today's conversation and topic around the mindset approach. And a lot of the feedback that I get from women who are reaching out to me looking for some advice or support about their fasting lifestyle. If you're not into fasting and you've discovered that for yourself, this is not a conversation that's going to be geared toward trying to change your mind. This conversation is geared toward the woman who has experienced the benefits of fasting in the past and has walked away from it and is really interested in coming back and wondering why it is she keeps walking away from something that she has identified as something that's working for her. So let's get started. Again, this comes from a lot of the feedback that I get from women here in this community. The number one reason that I see women are walking away from intermittent fasting or fasting in general is life happening to us and us not being fully committed to what it is that we say we really want. And the really want part is what I always like to emphasize here in this community. When we know what we really want and we're really steadfast in that decision, there is not going to be anything that's going to get in our way. There's not going to be anything that can change our mind. There won't be anything that's going to make us doubt what we already know is working for us. So oftentimes when women come to me and they say, I've stopped fasting because I went on vacation and didn't know how to get back to fasting. I stopped fasting because XYZ thing happened in their life and they just consistently fell out of the habit of fasting or the routine that they've developed for fasting, and they haven't created the skill set or the dedication or the emotional commitment or whatever it is to just come back in, right? Oftentimes we think that we have to get a personal invitation or we have to wait for the first of the month or for some group to start or a challenge or whatever in order to get back to knowing or doing the things that we know we really like doing and have really provided benefits for us. So the number one reason that a lot of women are stepping away from fasting is just life happening, and then they stopped being consistent. The best thing that you can do when you've realized that you've stepped away from fasting and you're yearning for the benefits of it and you want to come back is just start fasting the day you have that thought. The day that you have the thought of, I've walked away from fasting and I don't know why, don't worry about it. Don't try to find the reason. Don't try to pinpoint the thing from the past. Remember, we always do things in the forward direction of where we want to go. Just fast that day. You already have a foundation, an experience for what fasting can do for you. Our brain has amazing memory for those kind of things, and you will be able to just jump right back in. If you're a graduate of the intermittent fasting course, go get your journal and guide. If you did what I asked you to do in class, you should have a star on top of the page of your journal where you started noticing the benefits for fasting. Go to that page, count back to day one, and rinse and repeat everything you did to get to that star date. The consistency part is the best way to get back into fasting. Just be consistent. The other thing that happens when life is happening to us is we let the life happenings fall before us. So another thing that I get from a lot of emails and a lot of comments asking for help is, I've stepped away from fasting because my job changed. I stepped away from fasting because my husband got sick. I stepped away from fasting because I had to care for my parents. I stepped away from fasting when my kids moved out to college. Nothing that has to do with you personally. You let life step in before you making decisions for you, knowing what's best for you. If you are falling in that category, again, once you get that like aha moment of all I have to do is go back to fasting and make me the priority, make me more important than all the other things that are going around, The other part of this is you stopped being selfish first, right? We know that when we're selfish first, we can show up selfless for others better. When you put you before life happening, you let yourself show up in an arena where you need to be your best at your best. You will always be your best when you put yourself first. So don't let circumstances in your life be the excuse for why it is you are stepping away from you showing up for you first. The other thing that's keeping women from fasting, or the thing that's keeping them like away in the life aspect of things, is they're going in 99% committed. And what do I mean by this? And I shared this inside the Intermittent Fasting for Today's Aging Woman course community group over the weekend. When you're 99% committed, you have 1% opportunity where the door is wide open for all the excuses. I'm fasting, and I've seen it come across my YouTube feed this week as well. There's this new study out about oatmeal and how we're not supposed to eat it. And oh my gosh, I should probably not fast. Like, any excuse that you can find for why it is you're stepping away, you use that in that 1%. If you are 100% committed to practicing this lifestyle because there's just enough evidence to prove that you can reap benefits from just not having food in your life 24/7, then that's all it takes to be a very successful intermittent faster. You get to decide what it is you're going to put in and take out of your fasting lifestyle based on the life you choose to live. And if you stop allowing this 1% door open for all the reasons why you're going to experiment with this thing, or listen to Johnny about this thing, or the last YouTube video you saw come across your feed says XYZ things, and that doubt that you're creating is enough for you to make a hard right all the time, then you're going to find that you're stepping away from what you've already identified as something that is really working for you and allowing you to really live your most authentic life. Fasting can be defined in any way you as the individual woman defines it. What we talk about here a lot with the 20-hour clean fast and the very informed 4-hour feasting window is to help you get that kickstart, to help you get that win, to help you get that energized sense of calm we talk about so much here. So you always have that experience in your tool belt to fall back on. But you really get to decide what intermittent fasting means for you. I call intermittent fasting part of my personality. It's how I show up. It's how I make decisions. It's how I do everything in my life, because I have no other thing to fall back on that has proven time and time again that's going to work in my favor. But that doesn't mean that I have to do it restrictively every single day. That doesn't mean that I have to do it in the way that I did when I was sick, now that I'm a healed woman, 57, and having no health concerns that you have to manage with your doctor's office is a really freeing way to live our lives. And that's how all of us should be able to live regardless of our age. So, can intermittent fasting be something that you just identify as part of you as a woman? And can you just constantly come back to whatever it is that you really want to define intermittent fasting to be for you, so that you don't have the dialogue in your head of quitting, falling off the wagon, throwing in the towel, or stepping away from something that at one time in your life really did work for you? The biggest problem with so many things that we've tried in our life is the fact that we just simply quit doing the thing that was working for us. So, if you are that woman who has stepped away from fasting and you are yearning to come back, let today be the day. Let today be the day that you are going to consistently come back to fasting in some way, shape, or form. That you're going to put you before the life happenings. Life is always going to happen. And until you really define how you show up for you despite life happening, then life's going to constantly throw you off track. So put your feet into the ground and stand firm on how you are going to show up for you even when life is happening, so that you can show up as your best self and you're not creating new problems for yourself when life has problems that are being created on their own, right? And then you want to be selfish first. There's nothing more attractive than a woman who walks into a space with her selfishness. When you take care of you first, you have zero doubts about how it is you want to show up for you. And you then really can selflessly show up for others because your tank is full. When we show up from an empty tank, we're not serving anyone. So make sure you're spending some time to be selfish for yourself first so that you can then serve others. And then I really do encourage everyone, just go in 100% committed. No matter what, you are going to fast long enough for your body to have an opportunity to heal itself without you getting in the way. You are going to feast well enough so that every morning you can wake up looking and feeling your best. You're going to train smart enough so you can physically stay in the game, meaning you want to be the woman that can physically show up for all of the events and all of the things that are happening in your life fully functioning. The enough part is where you're going to allow yourself to stay committed and stop falling off because you're falling short. Create and define the fasting lifestyle that will serve you and work best for you. Take in the advice that you hear on the internet as a grain of salt. Gee, that's interesting. I'm going to try it out. If it doesn't work for me, I have this thing that I'm really confident and comfortable with because I'm 100% committed. I'm just going to go back to that. You do not have to rationalize it. You do not have to compromise. You do not have to explain it to anyone. Just come back. You are always welcome back here. We live our most authentic life. Fast long, feast well, train smart enough for you to be able to take all the benefits that this fasting lifestyle is offering for us. And then slam the 1% door shut. Just shut it. Don't allow those excuses to come in. And I promise you, you'll just love how you're feeling and you'll love how you're showing up for yourself. Okay, so that's it. Do a little inventory. If you feel like you've fallen away from fasting, check your life. What's going on in your life that has distracted you mentally and emotionally and maybe even physically? And how can you get back to living your most authentic life? When you can answer this, then these will stop being problems for you and you will consistently fast over time. Okay, so let's see who we have here with us today. Kimmy K, how have you overcome cravings? I have maintained a 25-pound weight loss since starting IF last September, but I finally signed up for class because I can't get my feasting under control. I need help. Okay, so you have to define, Kimmy, what cravings are for you. Are they emotional cravings? Are they mental cravings? Are they physical cravings? Figure out, and you want to calendar this out and do this in your journal, in your guide you get in class. When do these cravings hit? Is it after dinner? Is it when you're sitting on the couch watching TV? Is it when you're bored? Is it when you're emotional? And then when you kind of figure that part out, you can figure out how to satisfy the craving. Oftentimes, cravings are best satisfied without food. And oftentimes, the thing that you need is just to change some of the habits, or the habit triggers are the things that often cause those things to be cravings for you. So go through that inventory. I always say inventory your life before you inventory your pantry, right? And you'll probably be able to come to a lot of answers to those questions that you're having, and then realize, oh yeah, it's not even like a food thing that I need. It's just a food thing that my brain is telling me I need because I'm bored, I'm stressed, or the couch is the thing that I do XYZ things on. So we do a little bit of that in class for sure. Sherry H, June 22 grad, love IF for the rest of my aging life. Girlfriend, I know that is true for you. Tina, join the July class. I'm a graduate of 2018, and you will learn so many things that you can learn long term. DYANN is a great teacher and a coach. Thank you, my friend. We're actually registering for the August class now, believe it or not. It'll be August the 5th, I believe, whatever that Saturday is. And then on the Friday before we close registration. And yes, what I really like to teach with intermittent fasting is how you can take something like intermittent fasting lifestyle and incorporate it into all aspects of our lives, because we really do want to be the trifecta to aging successfully, right? We want to be mentally healthy, We want to be emotionally healthy, and we want to be physically healthy for as long as we can. And intermittent fasting is proving to be just that. So thank you for that shout out. So Fonda, November 22 grad, hit that like and thumbs up button, everyone. Yes, thank you so much for saying that, Shafonda. Social media is getting tougher and tougher as time goes on. So anything that you guys can do as community members to help us, I always appreciate. So as simple as it seems, like hitting the like button, hitting the thumbs button, making sure you are actually subscribed to YouTube or following on Facebook really does help us get this content out to people who really need to hear it. And it's free. So I appreciate it if you guys take that little second to do that for us while we're here. Patricia Horwood. The way I find I get back into fasting is to make sure I'm not hungry and fill myself up with the high protein stuff for as many days as it takes. All meats, eggs, and then 16 to 18 hours gets easy and as not easy as not hungry. Yeah, so that's a great approach for sure. If you're finding that hunger is the thing that's pulling you away, what I've noticed, and I think it's probably because I'm a fasting mindset coach and I don't really preach a lot of nutrition here, is that a lot of women are really finding that they're stepping away from fasting because of the fact that they just have lost focus of themselves. And they've really put things as a priority over how they say they want to look and feel. And I think that's a very common thing for so many women. I'm going to actually put the registration information for the course in the comment section. And then there's something else that I want to share with you guys as well. I've shared this inside of our midlife mindset shift course, and so many women have read that book in that group and community. I thought I would share it with you guys here as well. So I'm going to put this in the comment section. This is a book that I sped read in the month of June. I absolutely loved it. It totally painted a beautiful picture about why so many women get stuck in certain seasons of their lives. And it really is just conditioning and socializing and how we were raised, right? And so I put the name of the book and the link for it on Amazon in the comment section. It's called On Our Best Behavior. If you feel like you're constantly struggling with sticking to things that you know really serve you and work best for you, I highly recommend getting to the root of what is causing that. Nutritional advice is going to constantly change. Diets are going to come and go. If you, as the core of the woman of who you are constantly quitting on yourself or constantly feeling like you're failing, or you can't really get a grip on how to take care of you as you're going through this aging season, it's oftentimes just thoughts. And it's how we have been conditioned to show up for ourselves in a society that hasn't always been the warmest for us, right? And having to manage things and stifle things and shove things down, which is one of the biggest reasons why fasting has become such a healing thing for so many women, is because we're forced to sit in a state of hunger, and we're not opening up the opportunity to allow food in to numb us or buffer us or suppress feelings. And so a lot of women are finding a lot of great healing benefits from fasting that have nothing to do with aesthetics and everything to do with how it is they're healing their heart and their head. So I like to encourage that aspect of this lifestyle as well. So that link is in the comment section if you guys are interested. Sandy, my entire life has changed with the 100% commitment. Anything less is just not what I want. I don't approach marriage or friendships this way. Why would I not do this for myself? Sandy, that is exactly the way it should be described, right? We should commit to us 100%, the exact same way that we commit to others, and the exact same way we expect others to commit to us. And so that relationship we have with us should be one of the highest priority relationships that we work on, and that we really do get to the bottom of some of those underlying issues that are holding us back. So proud of you, Sandy, for all the work that you're doing. You're a perfect example of what we're doing here in our community, and I always love having you here with us. Liz, hi from beautiful sunny Maryland. March 2023 grad. Just now, when I put something away in the pantry, I saw my box of phaser mints. I walked away because you could taught me it would break my fast. Okay, because I taught you it would break your fast. Yeah, like tiny little things, right? These little buffering things that we put in our mouth that we don't even think about. Unless you're practicing a fasting lifestyle, fasting will stop you in your tracks. I love that fasting does that for us. Like you'll reach for something and you won't even think about it. I was one of these candidates of just putting things in my mouth and not thinking about it when I used to make my kids lunch when they were little. And they, they didn't like the crust on their peanut butter and jelly sandwich or whatever, and how I would just eat the crust. Like, I don't even know if I like crust on bread. I don't even eat bread anymore, so I can't even imagine. But like, why do we do that, right? Or you eating the last little pieces of their waffles in the morning, or the last little bit of their mac and cheese. Like, why do we do that? And a lot of times it's because we're just not thinking. And so when you create these windows, and this is why this one little practice is so important, when you ask yourself every morning, how long am I going to fast today? And how well am I going to feast today? That brings that to the forefront of your thoughts, right? And I'm fasting today for 20 hours. That means I'm breaking my fast at 3:00. You catch yourself in the act of subconsciously wanting to put things in your mouth. And if you get really good at catching yourself, you can in fact break those habits. So yes, we have to think about all those things, because they do create that little interruption throughout the day. And how many times do you do that in a 24-hour period? And then it also creates that discipline and commitment in your brain of, no, this is when I'm fasting. And then before you know it, those little habits start to break. So I'm glad you caught yourself on that one. Dima, last summer we had to sell my parents' house, so I had to empty it and sell everything. It was a very emotional project for me, but I made the decision to stick to intermittent fasting. In fact, fasting had helped me a lot in this endeavor. It made it easy for me to live this step of my life. I was proud of how I showed up for myself. Dima, I am very proud of you too. And that's the one thing that I always am kind of like, you what? Like, you had a stressful time and so you ate the whole time? Like, you had a stressful time or a busy time and so you ate? Like, eating takes up time and energy and resources. Like, when your life is stressed and your life is busy and you're having to manage something like what you just described there, Dima, like, the best thing to do is just take all that off of your plate and go into that in a fasted state. And you don't have to worry about those hypoglycemic highs and lows. You don't have to worry about those hunger pangs or running your day. You don't have to worry about, having those hangry moments, which just adds to the emotional state that you're already in and makes things 10 times worse. So fasting is that thing that I always say. We have the saying here, when in doubt, fast it out. Like, when in doubt, when life is stressful, when in doubt, when things are off track, when in doubt, life throws you a curveball, just fast it out. It's the absolute simplest thing that you can do. Judy, thanks for hanging out with us today. Peg, I feel the very best when I fast at least 12 hours, but when I fast longer, I feel even better. Yeah, I get the question all the time, like, how many days do you fast 20 hours? Only on the days I want to look and feel my best. Like, and that's how I used to answer, like, when people say, how many days a week do you exercise? Only on the days that I want to look and feel my best, or only on the days I want to be most confident, or only on the days I want to make sure that, like, emotionally and mentally I'm going to show up, even keel, right? And so when in doubt, fast it out. When in doubt, fast it out. It's the only decision that you can make that's not going to cause your body to have to do extra work. Just fast and get your way through it. Raina, big G rare, whatever that means. Peg, I ask myself if I'm head hungry, heart hungry, or stomach hungry. It seems so simple, but it works. That is a great way to figure out. I'm guessing you're talking about cravings. That's a great way to figure out, like, what state you're in. There's a different feeling when you are in need of nutrients and when you're craving something or just desiring food. It's a subtle difference, but once you really tune into it, you can discern which one is which, and you can make a more informed decision for yourself. And so it sounds like you're doing that very well, Peg. I'm so proud of you. So see if you can kind of get to that as well. Is it the need for nutrients that your body is signaling you for, or is it just that mental and emotional state? And when you can figure those two out, it's super, super powerful. Christy, had a hard time for a while for some reason, couldn't get my fasting groove. So I decided to do a long fast to reboot, and it was fabulous. Yeah, that's one of those things too, where I just say, jump all in. If you're feeling that yearning or you want to just kickstart it, just go for it. There's nothing worse than slowly agonizing your way to something good when you can have it with just in a day or two. And that's why in class, it's really important you put that star on that fasting journal page where you are feeling your best, where everything clicks for you when you kind of got over that hump, or what I say, the light switch got turned on. Put a star on that page and then just go back to day one, repeat those steps to get to that day again. It'll probably, what you'll find is you'll get there even faster. So yeah, go all in, jump all in, whatever you got to do, just come back. It's the best. Had a road trip and fasted 40 hours back to 24. I think it gave me the confidence back. Yeah, probably did. It just reaffirmed for you, Christy, that this is the best for you. So glad for you. She said January 21 grad. And go back to your notes, go back to your journal and guide for sure. Those things are so simple, but they're so powerful. Dima, so true about the bad habits around cravings. Even after 2 years of IF, I'm still struggling with my sweet pastry that should accompany my afternoon coffee. It's a constant mindful state we should be in to be in control of ourselves. Yeah, can you imagine if everybody thought before they acted? Like, it would change a lot of things in our world for sure. And food is just one of those things that we feel that we need it so much, or else, we heard all the threats, right, about skipping meals or going longer than a couple hours or whatever it is. And so we have this fear of being without food. And then when you build the confidence in a fasted state, then you can in fact just rethink what it is you need and what's really serving you for sure. Peg, honestly, when I started IF, taking away the food, which I realized I was addicted to, I was then able to tackle my dysfunctional childhood. Yes, because food is something that we use as a drug, right? And we use it to check out. We use it to numb ourselves. We use it as a distraction. We use it as a treat. We use it as a punishment. We misuse food in so many ways. And so when you sit in that state of hunger, that's specific and very purposeful, you really do get to let all those things that you've shoved down with all that food rise up beautifully, and you can manage it in such a confident way, because you're doing it from the energized sense of calm. You're doing it from this level-headed place. And who knew that food was the thing that was keeping us from all of that? So yeah, fasting is a great form of therapy as well. Leona, I wanted to report back to you about my annual checkup. My doctor went over my blood lab results. He was amazed and happy. My blood glucose levels and cholesterol levels went way down. Well, there you go, my friend. And that's that just confirmation that we get with the blood work to just prove everything we're doing is working for us, right? And again, it's that thing, Leona. Now you just get to rinse and repeat what you're doing that's working for you. And those blood results will stay that way, if not even get better. So super proud of you. And now you have that confirmation on paper. Sean, when I continue to fast when life happens, at least I'm not adding another negative to my situation like weight gain. Yes, that's what I always say, right? We turn to food when life happens and life seems out of control, or we have things that we have to manage. And then those things always get resolved. They always get resolved. And then we're left with weight gain, fatigue, disappointment, guilt, all those things. And now we have this whole new bucket of problems that we created for ourselves that we have to manage after life just worked its way through whatever was going on. So don't create new problems for yourself. The other thing that I like to say is don't kick yourself when you're down. Why is it when life is stressful or things happen that we weren't expecting to happen that we kick ourselves at the down point? And we kick ourselves because when we turn to food in those situations, it's often not the best food choices. So not only are we walking away from fasting, which provides so many benefits for us, but we turn to food that's not really serving us. And so then we end up even worse than we ever were before. And so be careful of that for sure. We want to make sure that we're making very informed food choices in all emotional states and circumstances in our life. So Sean, I'm glad that you figured that out. Leona, I let him know if I'm doing that I'm doing IF 24 and I took your class. He said I'm doing great and to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm on cholesterol medicine and it never lowered my cholesterol like fasting. Yeah. So if you're on cholesterol medication, what would be interesting, a little project for you, Leona, is to see if you can get off of it. That would be super fun for sure. Let's see. Leona, 24, I'm also able to deal with my dysfunctional relationship with food. Yeah. Well, and here's a great piece of advice for you, Leona, is why don't you classify that in a different way? Right. And maybe the dysfunctional relationship for food, see if you can call that something else. Like maybe you're in a new season of experimenting with food and you're only going to choose foods that serve you. And now you're showing up as this new woman, right? This new version of you. And you get to decide how food plays a role in your life and take the dysfunction out of it because you're now showing up in a different way. Super, super powerful when we really pick words to serve where we want to go, and we let go of the words that describe where we were, right? So work on that one and see how that works for you. Nancy, thanks for sharing your own experiences with fasting and what's going on with you and yourself. Oh, you're welcome, my friend. It's, we got to be honest, and we got to share what's going on. Fasting has really been a powerful tool for me for the same reasons that it is for a lot of women. And one of the biggest reasons that I've become a fasting mindset coach and not a fasting nutritional coach is nutrition's changing all the time, right? I'm reading the book Outlive by Dr. Peter Attia, and I just finished the chapter on Alzheimer's. And, there's all this research says this about can help Alzheimer's. And then there's a whole nother category of research that's opposing this that also says it helps Alzheimer's. So we're going to decide what we do nutritionally and lifestyle habits based on the information that we find fits what we want the most. That's just the truth, right? And so what I want us to think about is how it is we want to show up. Because when we figure out how it is we want to show up and how we really get to the bottom of why we're doing the things we're doing, and is it because of things that happen to us, for us, around us, or whatever, when we weren't in the decision-making process of things, and would we make those same decisions for ourselves today? And when you can get to the bottom of that, which is what this book is about that I shared with you guys on our best behavior, man, it really does give us the freedom and the opportunity, and even sometimes the permission to just let go, right? Just let it go. And so that's what I love about sharing some of the things that have been going on in my life as well, that it's not always just about diet or how many macros you ate. Sometimes it's about just how you feel when you show up. Suzanne, August 22 grad, I left IF for a month to try Airbond products and go back to eating multiple times a day. Gained weight back after a month. What a mistake. Back on 24 daily, incorporated a longer 40-hour fast from Wednesday to Friday every week and feel amazing again. We'll be fasting for life. Yeah. And hey, Susan, kudos to you for trying, right? You'll never know until you try. And what I love that you did was you experimented. It didn't work. You came right back. Eliminating the drama in the middle of all that is so key. And it sounds like you did that beautifully. So we're here for you, girlfriend. We're all lifers as well. And we call, my husband and I used to do a Wednesday to Friday fast, and we called it date night fast or something like that, or fast to Friday. And it was super fun. So yeah, glad you're finding what's working for you for sure. Just getting back in my groove. I was discombobulated for a couple weeks, but I'm back. Hey, all that matters is that you're back, my friend. And we all go through those seasons. No punishment, no guilt, no self-sabotage. You just come back whenever you want. We don't care about what was going on. All we care about what's going to happen for you in your future. So glad to have you. Julie, September 22 grad. This is great. My priorities changed. Yes. Yes, my goal is to get off the cholesterol medicine. Awesome. Yes, I'll find a better, more powerful and upbeat word. Yeah. Find one that is super exciting for you and super motivating for you. It will keep you very focused for sure. And then did you have a calcium heart score test? Just curious if you had that done. Anita, I like that I'm in a season of experimenting with foods, and that benefits me now that I am in this new menopause 2.0 season. Yes, 100%. Our bodies change, right? Our body chemistry changes. Our hormones are constantly changing. I just did the experiment with cottage cheese and yogurt. Didn't work well, right? In the very beginning, it was like so delightful, and I missed cottage cheese and I missed yogurt so much. But about 2 weeks in, when the eyes started having eczema and I was dripping water from my eyes from the allergies, and my joints were hurting and aching, there's no cottage cheese that's ever going to taste as good as no joint pain, right? And so we have to experiment. The thing that we have to really get good at practicing is not punishing ourselves for the experiment. And that's a big key factor that a lot of us miss. Julie, December 23, to caregiver, need to get back to me and 24 IF. Thanks, Diane. I think it's December 22, but I hear what you're saying. Yes, get back to you. If you are a caregiver and you are not being selfish, you are doing a disservice to the person that you're caring for, because you are not showing up 100% as the best version of you. So be selfish so that you can be a better taker. And society wants us to believe the opposite of that we're supposed to give, and not take care of ourselves. So the number one person that you need to take care of, Julie, is you. Suzanne, adding my longer 40-hour fast once a week is a game changer. You motivated me to add a longer fast in my week. Girlfriend, I love that. It's super fun to do every now and then. And we go through seasons. So just know there might be a season where that doesn't fit in for you. That's going to be a-okay. It's the consistency over time of the decision-making process that's going to really help you keep and reap the benefits. But I'm glad you're enjoying it. It is super fun. Jane, like the 99% commitment reminder on IF, it is the 1% which I have trouble with. November 22 grad. Yes, because this seems really small, but we often lean into this a lot more than we really care to admit to, right? So I just say shut the door on it. Just go 100%. You deserve the 100% commitment for sure. Leona, thanks for sharing your recent email, Diane. Yeah, you are so welcome. I love this life. I love this community. I love being able to share stuff. I love also being able to share with you guys. This is not a perfect lifestyle. This is not a perfect journey. Things are constantly changing. I've never been 57 years old before. I've never been this deep into menopause before. I don't even have good examples of what that looks like. So this is all super new to me. And my commitment to this community is to share every aspect of the good, the bad, and the indifferent with all of you, because I don't want you to think that if you're not always feeling 100% that there's something that you're doing wrong. Sometimes there's just stuff that's going on with us and fluctuating and shifting. And the other thing for me, and what I shared in my email with you guys and some of the things that I've added in, is I am not a candidate for hormone replacement therapy. And so I have to find things that I can add in that are going to help in that area that I can't get from HRT. And so I don't want to just bottom out in all areas. I'm going to constantly do my research and experiment with adding some stuff in. So I'm glad that helped you. Leona, did your insurance cover the calcium and heart test scores? It did, I believe. Yeah, I think it did. I think so. But they're inexpensive. I think the most I've seen is $300. I just saw someone in Texas, I don't know where you are, they paid $175 for it. So for peace of mind, it's super inexpensive, and you only have to get one like once every 3 to 5 years or something like that. But it is just a good indication of that calcium or that cholesterol that's in your system and where that's settling in, and is it creating those calcium deposits in your heart. So I say it's worth the investment. Treat yourself for your birthday or anniversary, or I don't know, August 1st, whatever, however it is you decide treating yourself. Give yourself a little treat and get yourself a little calcium heart score test. Kimmy, I'm so glad I jumped onto this live call. I feel like you are my life raft. Looking forward to figuring out my emotional triggers so I can be who I know I can be. 100%, girlfriend, you owe it to yourself. We have spent so many years, I have spent so many years letting triggers, society, people in my life, circumstances that happen determine how I showed up. And when I have made the commitment to just not let that be part of who I identify anymore, my entire world opened up. And so you have the opportunity to do the same thing. It doesn't have to be hours of therapy. It doesn't have to be, some big ritual. You don't have to go through a 12-step program. You just get to decide, Kimmy, that today you are letting all of that nonsense go. You can manage and deal with the things that you feel like you need to, and the other things that you just decide are not going to serve you, let it go. And you get to just show up however you want to show up today. It's super freeing, and I love it. That's why I like being a life coach versus a lot of other things, because it does really just simplify things. You get to decide all on your own. Sharon, oh my word, caregiver for my mama since she broke bones in May. Stress and crazy schedule made me drop out, but I'm back. Yeah, come back. Come back. You will be so much better of a caretaker for your mom when you show up looking and feeling your best and doing that for you. You will 100% be a better caretaker for her, because you won't resent her. Because when you take care of you first, there's no room for resentment, right? Because you're the only person that you can resent if you're neglected is you. So let all that go and come on back, girlfriend. We're here every Monday and Thursday for you. So come back on Thursday. I paid $50 for my calcium score in Chicago over a year ago. There you go. Just shop around and find, different places that do it. The place that we go, I think it is $300. And I don't remember paying for it. I think it is something that's covered by our insurance. So call your insurance first and then just shop around to some places to see if you can get it done. I think it's a CT scan or something like that, I think. My doctor said he was a big fan of IF, and he said, Leona, with your great improvements on your blood and cholesterol lab results, it's obvious you've been fasting consistently long-term. Yeah, tell him it's consistency over time is how we like to say it, doctor. Sherry, I had the test done. Insurance didn't cover it. It was $150. Money well spent for peace of mind that the cholesterol didn't matter. That's what I love about the calcium heart score as well. I have an appointment with my cardiologist next month. I get to have that appointment with him every year because my cholesterol is high and I have a funky heart rhythm or something like that. So I love going to see my cardiologist because, again, I'm speaking with a specialist. He's looking at all my information and he usually has me go out the door saying, just keep doing what you're doing. You're fine. So lots of things to consider before we, just kind of zone in on one thing. Debbie, what do you recommend when your weight loss stalls at 24? This is what I feel about weight stalling. I truly believe that our body is not designed to lose weight every day of the year. I believe our body decides that it's putting resources and energy into other things. And when it's ready to let go of weight, it will let go of weight. When your body loses weight, it's when your hormones are balanced out, you're draining the tanks efficiently, and you're being really honest with yourself. When you have all of that dialed in, your body will let go of the weight when it's ready to let go of the weight. Most of the time, Debbie, we have a time frame in our mind. It's like Tuesday at 8:00, I weigh myself. Why am I not any less than I was last time? Well, what if your body let goes of weight on Wednesdays? What if your body says, this week I'm working on something else? What if your body's like, I'm tired of losing weight. I just need a little break. I'm going to test you out, Debbie, and see if you're going to go wonko on me, right? So there's a lot of things that we have to manage when we're trying to lose weight. And trust is one of those big things that our body really needs in order to lose weight. My best advice is stay the course. Just commit 100% that you know what you're doing is working for you. And then write it out. Make sure you're checking in with your water. Make sure you're moving your body. Make sure you're really honest with your food choices. And then see if your body will pay you back and then get back on track to losing weight when it's ready. Leona, thanks, Diana. We'll find out if my insurance will cover the test and save up for them. Yeah, and then let us know for sure. We love the feedback. So if you find a place in your area, let us know where your area is generally and what the cost was and if your insurance covered it, and then we'll share that with our community for sure. Lindak, I was always a breakfast person, but since I started one meal a day, I have breakfast 2 times a week and dinner food on the other 7 days. Yes. And here's the thing. What is breakfast? Is breakfast hash browns, eggs, and bacon? You can have that at 2:00 in the afternoon. Is breakfast the time of day for you? So that's the other thing that we need to consider too. A lot of people talk about, oh, I can't fast because I love breakfast. Do you love eating at a certain time of the day, or do you like the food that you have at that time of the day? We often have breakfast at our house for dinner. Right? So we have eggs and we'll have, maybe some gluten-free pancakes and we'll have some bacon and we'll have it at 7:00 at night or 5:00 at night. So remember how you're describing and breaking up your day too. And then if you just like to have breakfast every now and then, like we have Sunday brunch, we have a little later in the morning and we start our fast a little earlier in the evening, and it all washes out. So giving yourself the permission for that flexibility is super key. Marianne, just had my yearly physical. My cholesterol went up and I've gained 8 pounds. Oh my gosh, are you fasting? Did you graduate from class? I need more information from you. Let's see. Leona insurance didn't cover for me, but I had it done at the doctor's hospital. Awesome. Okay. I've been intermittent fasting for 8 months. When I started, I lost 5 pounds. I just had my physical and I gained 8 pounds and cholesterol went up. Marianne, did you graduate from class? Let me know if you've been in class with us. And then I can kind of help you. I'll tell you where to go in class to kind of get you back on track. If you haven't graduated from class, I highly recommend jumping into our August course, it will totally help you. It'll help you figure out what's going on with you and how to get yourself back into the season that you want to be in for sure. Because sometimes it's not the intermittent fasting aspect. It could just be that you're not fasting long enough to get the results you want. And it could be some pesky little things in your feasting window that could be the reason why you're not seeing things go. Oftentimes we lose that initial weight because we just get rid of inflammation. And so that rapid weight loss usually happens in the beginning. We want that for sure. But once the easy weight loss is over and we have to actually get to the point where we're balanced out on our hormones, we're really honest about our food choices, we've made lifestyle changes that could cause weight gain that are not only just what you eat, but what you put on and around your body as well. So those are all causing some hormonal upset as well. And then cholesterol goes up and cholesterol goes down. Again, when you're making these lifestyle changes and you're doing good things, oftentimes things get released into our system. So there's a lot of people who see an influx in cholesterol in the beginning and then it balances itself out. Again, don't make hard right turns. Consistently fast, 100% commitment, right? Go all in with us. And then let's see if some things balance out for you. Get in the class, Marianne, for sure. It's hard for me to help one-off situations here. I mean, we can comment on things and we can support each other here in this community, but getting into classes where we really can get into doing some good work and breaking some things down for you. So I would highly recommend getting in there. The link to get into class is in the comment section. Just scroll up and then you can also find it in the description box down below. Also, make sure you guys look for that book that I put the link for. I'll put it in the description box for YouTube and Facebook as well. Amazing book, really helps us realize as women how innocently we do things to put ourselves in harm's way. And a lot of times it has to do with some stuff that happened 30, 20, 40 years ago. And when we get really honest about that kind of stuff, then we can really be honest about what we're doing today. I eat one meal a day. It's called, OMAD, not breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Yeah, there you go. I just call it feasting. I just feast. And when my feasting window is open, I let all kinds of things happen in there that I have deemed appropriate for me or allow me to look and feel my best. And I really stopped using things like dinner, lunch, and breakfast. Jan, don't worry about it, girlfriend. It's recorded. You can check it out on YouTube. As soon as I'm done, you can go back to the beginning. Sean, regardless of what an unwanted test result shows, it's never the fault of the fast. It's always the feast, Sean. Always the feast. Fasting will always be the thing that allows your body the time, space, and resources to heal itself. If anything's going on, always the feast. Thank you for reminding us of that. I'm glad we caught that before we left today. Okay, so that is it for us today. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining us. We have a beautiful community of women who have contributed to the conversation. Make sure that you are checking out the comment section on the live feed if you're catching this on the rebroadcast. And then if you haven't jumped into class with us, I highly recommend that you do. Something changes in your brain when you make that commitment to go all in on you. And that's exactly what I expect from you guys when you come into class. I expect you to go all in on you. Anita, you are super welcome, my friend. And thanks for the book recommendations, Diane. I also highly recommend The Gift of Fear. He explains the detail of how our intuition can keep us safe. There you go. Awesome. Great book recommendations. Okay, you guys, I will see you back here on Thursday at noon Central Standard Time. We will talk about something else that is applicable to us as today's aging women in today's world, intermittent fasting, and the mindset approach that we are taking to keep ourselves healthy and strong as we age. I love you guys. I'll see you later.